All right, welcome to the next part of our billing overview and demonstration for MemberSplash. Let's jump in. So now that we have an understanding of the process, let's dive in a little further into how these products actually get set up within the MemberSplash system. And again, products meaning what is it that your club sells? What types of memberships? So we noted a little bit ago that there are a couple of primary areas of information that we'll rely on in order to do the product build, which is your club products, prices, and rules. Again, what kind of memberships do you sell? What are the associated rates for them? Are there any discounts or are there late fees? Do you have one-time costs like initiation fees, bond purchase, or do you need to assess for capital improvements? The other important piece, again, as we noted, is the membership data, which may also come with the information on what kind of an account do they have, what kind of membership, family, individual, couple, senior, and of course, any unpaid or open charges that you want to make sure to include within the MemberSplash system. So under club products, prices, and rules, obviously we need to understand more about the annual memberships you offer. For example, individuals, couples, families, senior individuals, senior couples. We have a lot of experience with these different types of membership or account types within the MemberSplash system. We've built in a lot of flexibility to address your specific needs. Beyond the membership types, there's also, of course, other club fees and products that we would want to include on your behalf. Things like guest passes or care provider fees, or the ability to make sure we're assessing for any open charges that your members might have. There are often one-time club fees. These typically for new members, things like the purchase of a bond or an initiation fee, capital improvements or other assessments that could be only for new or maybe for renewing members. And then, of course, there are the payment rules. Do you offer a discount for early payment? Do you penalize your members for making late payments? So these are the pieces of information that MemberSplash uses to build the billing system on your behalf. So the pricing scenarios that are really typical, of course, are the new member, where they're required to pay all the initial one-time fees, like an initiation fee, or if there's a bond or equity purchase, capital improvement fees. And of course, they would also be required to pay their seasonal membership fee on top of any one-time fees. And then, of course, there are the other optional items like guest passes or care provider fees. For renewing members, it's a little bit simpler. They're simply required to pay their seasonal membership fee, their renewal fee. They may choose to pay for some optional items like the purchase of additional guest passes, or if they need a care provider that they add for the season. And of course, any unpaid or open charges that the system recognizes for things like front desk, guest pass purchases, or snack bar purchases that have not yet been paid. And of course, any club assessments, things like one-time capital improvement fees for repairs or upgrades to the facility. Okay, we've spent a lot of time talking about how the products and the billing is going to be set up. So now let's take a look into the back end of the MemberSplash system so we can show you a little more detail that's associated with setting up your products and the fee categories. So I'm logged in as an administrator and I'm at the dashboard page, as you can see. I'm going to go to products and let's start in the area called fee types. One of the most important parts about this from the accounting perspective is that every product should be associated with a fee type. Basically, this will allow your bookkeeper to be able to analyze the sources of revenue. That's the fee type. So is it a membership fee? Is it a guest fee? Is it an initiation or late payment fee? Every one of the products that we set up on your behalf will have an associated fee type again. So for accounting purposes, you'll be able to analyze the revenue sources for your club. The next piece is products. Again, we've talked a lot about products. So now you get a real quick view of the back end of the system where all the products are set up. So you'll see the different membership types. You will see one-time fees. You'll see optional fees like guest credits and seasonal caregivers. Everything you need in order to be able to bill your customers, whether they are new members or renewing members, is included in this area. All right, let's take a look at how this manifests itself when you have a member that actually logs in order to make a payment. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Let's select a family that is being offered membership so we can get a view as to how that looks for an initial payment to the club. I go to membership and accounts. Let's select one that has been offered membership. How about the bird family? Remember, the switch feature allows us to go to this account as if we're logging in. In this case, it would be as if we were logging in for the first time. So here's what the bird family will see when they log into the system. This is their portal where they can update their information and, of course, make payments. You'll see that there is a reminder at the top of the screen in red saying your account is not paid for the current season. In order to make a payment, they simply click here. So what do we see for a brand new member to the club? Well, the one-time fees, like the equity fee and initiation fees, both appear. In this case, they also have the option to select what type of membership it is that they're going to be purchasing. In this case, it's a family membership, so they simply select the box next to the family membership. Do they want to add a care provider? If they plan to bring a babysitter this season, they can add one to their account for the duration of the season. And then they elect how they're going to pay. If they select credit or debit and click next, it takes your members to a summary screen of their purchase. You'll see that they are paying for their club membership bond, their initiation fee, membership, their caregiver fee, and here's the online service fee. That's the 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction that's charged by authorized.net. This, of course, is optional to be passed through to your members. It can be passed through as a calculated amount, as a different amount, or it can be absorbed by the club. These are all your choices. In this case, this is a summary of all charges. Your families can simply go from here and verify their billing information, which is all being pulled from the MemberSplash database. They need to simply enter their credit card number, expiration date, and CVV. When they select Submit Order, once the authorization comes back from authorized.net, they are immediately marked as paid in the back end of the system. So there's no further work that's required from the treasurer or bookkeeper perspective to acknowledge the payment. The system's already done that. So if this family shows up at the pool 5 minutes from now, front desk will be aware already that they're paid. Having said that, some families will elect to pay by check. That is one option that's available to you when you're with the MemberSplash system. I'm going to click on Edit Order and go down the check payment path. In this case, we're not making any changes to our membership information. We're only changing how we're going to make a payment. So under Payment Method, I'm electing Check. I click Next. Here's the order confirmation page, which summarizes everything that the family is purchasing. Their bond, they're paying their initiation fee, membership, and seasonal caregiver fee. The billing information, again, pulled from the database, can be corrected or accepted by your members. In this case, when they click Submit, Submit Order is different than when making a credit or debit card payment. They have simply promised to send you a check which you have not yet received. In this case, their order has been placed and they've been moved into a pending payment status. At this point, one thing that MemberSplash adds to the system in order to limit human error is that we ask your members to please download the PDF of the invoice, print it out, and mail it with a copy of your check. So click Download Invoice. And so your members are being asked basically to provide a summary that your bookkeeper or accountant will actually be able to recognize. We've heard from many of the bookkeepers, accountants, and treasurers that say nothing more frustrating than receiving a check in the mail from a member, but it's made out for an amount that they don't recognize. So this is in order to add some clarity on both the side of your member as well as the side of the person who's receiving the check. So what you'll see is you've got an invoice number and date. You know exactly which family it is that is making the payment. You know what they're paying for. They're paying for their bond and initiation, their membership, and their babysitter. They know to make the check payable to your swim club and where to mail it, to whose attention, and to what address. Again, the whole idea is to try to limit human error, and we'll do whatever we can. Okay, what about a family that's renewing their membership? Should be a little bit different, shouldn't it? Because there shouldn't be any one-time fees like initiation or bond purchase fees. Well, the Member Splash system is smart enough when set up to avoid incorrectly charging your renewing members. Let's take a look at one of our families that is renewing their membership for this season. I go to Membership, Accounts. Let's select a family that's unpaid. The Ibrahims appear to be unpaid. I click Switch again to go to their account so we can illustrate just what their payment pages will look like. So a reminder, of course, anyone who is in an unpaid status will see a banner at the top of their screen indicating that they haven't paid yet for the current season. When they go to make a payment, they simply click here. It takes them to their payment page. One item of note, many clubs will elect to have their renewing families simply presented with the same membership type they had in the previous season. For instance, for the Ibrahim family, they would only be presented with family membership if that's what their membership type was a year before. Other clubs prefer to keep it more open for their members to elect their membership type each year. In this case, for my pretend club, I'm allowing my families to elect their membership type when they renew. The Ibrahims are still a family. They're electing a family membership. They're also electing to purchase a book of 10 guest passes. They are adding a babysitter for the duration of the season. If they elect to pay by credit or debit, this will look familiar. When they select Next, they'll be taken to the summary screen, which says, what are they paying for? Membership, guest passes, their caregiver fee, and there's the online service fee, which we've discussed before, 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. Billing information, again, coming right out of the Member Splash database. At this point, your members need to add their credit card number, expiration date, CVV, and as stated, when they click Submit Order, they would immediately be marked as paid in the back end of the system. Alternatively, they can also go down the path of providing a check that is to be mailed. Okay, that concludes the discussion of the billing setup on the back end of the Member Splash system. Make sure to pay attention to the upcoming videos. We're going to go into a little more detail on what it takes to locate and download all of the transactions that are being recorded within the Member Splash system, how to export them so they can be brought into your accounting software, such as QuickBooks, and other information on understanding and recording payments. Thanks again for your time.